We'd like to call this commission work session to order. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Dominic, Johnson, Williams, Lynn, Bowman, Baker, Lynch, Escadade, Thibodeau, Cox, Smith, and Epperson.
Here.
We have a quorum, Madam President.
Thank you. Please stand for prayer by Commissioner Bowman, pledge by Commissioner Thibodeau.
Heavenly Father, we come once again with bowed heads and humble hearts. Thank you for this day. As always, Lord, thank you in advance, and we ask you to just continue to guide every decision that is made here. Help it to be that is conducive to the citizens, and allow this and every meeting that we have be productive and progressive and unto you. These are the blessings we ask and thank you in your Son, Jesus' name, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item.
Have any agenda additions?
I don't think so.
There being none, we move to citizen comments. I think we have one card.
I have one card here. Ms. Lois Mabry.
Good afternoon, members of the Commission. Oops, better need these. How pleased I am to return to share with you what your grant money has done to improve the lives of people in Caddo Parish. To refresh your memory, I'm Lois Mayberry, Chairman of the Board of Directors of St. Luke's Episcopal Mobile Medical Ministry, a nonprofit mobile medical clinic that provides medical screening and education to people in Caddo Parish. The clinic is a 36-foot recreational vehicle that has been converted into a mobile medical clinic. We travel to rural sites like downtown Vivian, Oil City, Keithville, and also inner city sites in Shreveport at Austin and Texas Street, Cedar Grove, the Highland neighborhood, and Moortown on at least a monthly basis to perform blood pressure and blood glucose testing. These are easy, inexpensive screening tests for high blood pressure and diabetes. Since I last spoke with you, we have now expanded our services to include primary care services in Vivian and Oil City and to the homeless population in inner city Shreveport by expanding our staff to include a doctor, volunteer doctor, and nurse practitioners that are able to perform full evaluations on our patients, order and obtain blood samples for blood tests, and write prescription medications. We are able to assist in obtaining those medications for clients or directing them somewhere that they can receive them. Citizens of Caddo Parish that are underinsured or uninsured and live in areas where medical services on a sliding scale are difficult to obtain because of transportation problems are being helped by attending our clinics and bringing health screening and health services to them. In 2012, we had 1,454 client visits, seeing 1,012 unduplicated clients. As of September of 2013, we have had 1,300 client visits and seen 940 unduplicated clients. As you can see, our numbers are growing and we've been able to serve 20% more clients. Much of this expansion has been in the Vivian and Oil City area as we have begun to provide primary care services for the last 2 months there. Other areas of expansion have been in the Highland area as we serve in conjunction with the Highland Blessing Dinner held each Thursday at the Highland Center, in the Moortown area at Airport Park, and expansions of services in Ledbetter Heights through the Hope Coalition and Cedar Grove areas. Cedar Grove services are in conjunction with Common Ground Ministry. Our one area we have had a difficulty expanding into is Keithville. We have attempted for 4 months to find a location that attracts clients, and none have achieved this. Our plan for this area is to do periodic health clinics at different community events as we are made aware of them. For 2014, we are asking $7,550 to provide more comprehensive care, primary care for the treatment of hypertension and diabetes in the Caddo Parish communities that we serve. We will have a nurse practitioner on the van at these locations to provide initial treatment for their chronic conditions while we will work to get them into a medical home. We have entered into discussion with the David Raines Centers to assist with finding medical homes and have had a long-standing relationship with Martin Luther King Health Center as a referral for these clients with no insurance. Your money is going to be directed towards medical van expenses, educational supplies, and clinic screening supplies. One advantage of having the clients on the van while the testing and care is being done is that we have time to educate them on ways that we can improve their health as soon as they leave the van. I've brought today and shared with you sheets that are some of the handouts that we give all of our clients. Portion size, salt habit, and sugar habit. These are all necessary educational tools for beginning to take care of their medical needs immediately without the cost of even medication at that point. As last year, I'd like to end with a story, and let me tell you about Charlie. He lived for 13 years in a tent in downtown Shreveport behind a church. After his tent mate died from medical complications, Charlie was willing to accept assistance to move to a subsidized apartment. He continued to receive medical care from us even after he qualified for Medicare and Medicaid. We assisted him into the services of local doctors as his medical problems worsened, and he has since required extensive care at a local hospital and has now been had to move into a nursing home setting. Charlie is being guided through the complicated system with the care and compassion of St. Luke's volunteers, as we are his only family. His biological family was located when he was critically ill, but are in another state and unable to assist him. For St. Luke's has been there to provide improved quality of life for Charlie. This is only one example of many of our clients. I hope that with all the discussions of problems with healthcare systems and the complications that these new systems hold, as we proceed to provide medical assistance to the people of Caddo Parish, you will support our efforts with your financial support. We need your help and greatly appreciate the help you've given us in the past. Thank you. Anyone have any questions?
You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Great job. You've done a great job.
Well, we appreciate your efforts and hope that when you consider the grant session for this year.
I do have, so you're saying we can eat this?
What I'm saying is your choice is one or the other.
Oh.
And it's an easy choice to make when you drive up to the window. You have the choice of the regular size hamburger or the junior hamburger. Most restaurants, the junior hamburger is the same thing. It's just an appropriate portion. So by using that appropriate portion, you're doing something far better for your health. The big portions that we have gone to are not making us healthy.
So if you eat less portions, even if you eat this, eat less portions, you possibly
That's one step. There are lots of steps you can take. One of our dilemmas with the clients that we deal with is they have very little control over their food choices. They are because we are in conjunction most of the time with a food site where they are getting some of the food from the North Louisiana Food Bank. They don't have a choice of what goes into the box, but they have a choice of how much they eat of what goes into the box. And so that's one of our educational tools we try to teach, and that's why we emphasize so much on portion control.
Do you have a schedule on when you're in those different neighborhoods?
I do, and I'm real sorry I didn't bring it with me, but you can go on our website, and we had 14 missions, or have 14 missions scheduled for the month of November. We will be Saturday I totally invite any of you, we will be Saturday at the Men's Health Clinic. There's a Men's Health Day being held at the Southern Hills Park, and we will be there. Would love for you to come down and see the van, tour the van. I will be there. Look for me and come remind me who you are. And let me show you the van and show you some of the services that come get your blood pressure taken. Actually, the only thing we're doing at that van is glucoses.
Okay, so you all will come out and show the van and do, like at health fairs and everything.
Yeah, we have been to several health fairs. I know we did one at Linwood this year. I mean, if we get called about it, and that's why I did include the brochure that's got both our website, our email address. Our offices are located, they are donated by Holy Cross Church, and that's where our office is located. but the vans stay stored in a recreational storage place over off of Shreveport-Barksdale Highway. And, you know, if you see us, now we are beginning to provide services 4 times a month to the homeless in front of Hope House at the corner of Austin and Texas Street.
Where's Holy Cross Church?
Holy Cross is on Common, right down from, kind of catty corner from Municipal Auditorium. It's the
Okay.
downtown Episcopal Church.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Thibodeau?
Yeah, Lois, how much did y'all ask for this year?
$7,550.
All right, you know, this is not a great deal of money, and I hope when it comes time, we'll support them to give them this money, but this particular NGO is the type that I think we should support because it covers people in every part of the parish, and that, to me, is what our NGOs should be about, taking care of as many people in the entire parish, and they do that, and they do it for really very little money. So
Currently, we have an executive director, and we have paid nurse practitioners, but our nurse practitioners are paid through a Susan G. Komen grant. We have done extensive breast health screening thanks to the help of a Susan G. Komen grant.
Commissioner, I'm sorry. That's it?
finished.
Commissioner Cox?
I was going to echo Mr. Thibodeau for what you do and for the community as a whole, north, south, east, and west of Caddo Parish. It's remarkable. The one thing I don't know if can help me or Lucky or
Be nice.
or some other people is the portion size.
I know,
That just ain't gonna make it.
I know it's tough, but you gotta.
I know. Getting back to your program, I'm going to try to make it out there to look at the bus and
Please do.
a few other things. You do a remarkable job, and a lot of NGOs. I've always been a behind the
Food bank.
food bank, and trying to get anybody to help out is hard. To do what you've done and the amount of time that y'all have done it is remarkable. I appreciate your help.
Well, it's been a wonderful partnership to partner with the North Louisiana Food Bank. I mean, it was and I don't really even know where that idea came out, but it was a great way to meet the needs of clients in both areas, both the feeding them medically, feeding them nutritionally.
Good job.
It's been a good partnership. That's one of the things we've tried very hard to do, is partner with existing operations, you know, and not reinvent the wheel.
Commissioner Lynch?
First of all, can you give me a breakdown on what I can order at Southern Classic
Oh, one piece.
and at Popeyes? I mean, just, you don't have to tell me in front of.
I will be
you don't have to
very
tell me in
honest.
front of these people, but we'll talk about it.
Switch to Subway. I hate to say it, but switch to Subway.
Oh, Lord.
David, pull the skin off the chicken.
Yeah, pull it off.
There you go.
I don't know if I'll be.
Well,
I do
now,
Subway though. I do Subway
honestly,
too.
and I saw the Cane's box put up, but the Popeyes, and I'll tell you, the one that's really good is Church's. Church's, you can order the child's meal. It's 2 chicken strips, and then get the coleslaw. That's probably the best of your sides that you could get to go with it. And you can do the child's meal. Think of yourself as a child. Child's meal.
Have you been to Southern Classic?
No, I have not.
Okay.
Popeyes is the only Louisiana company.
Go to Southern Classic and then get back with me.
I'll do that. I promise you.
You can't get it.
I promise you.
The family side.
Jim.
No, Mr. Jim's chicken, man.
See, I think we've gone through the big list of our NGOs, and I know that you all
I'd pull that.
have already been slated to get the funding that you all have requested, because we don't vote until December. But I do want to make sure that we're clear that all of our NGOs, while they may specify targeted areas, as long as they meet the criteria for what we do funding for those type of services, they can come from anywhere in the city, even though they're targeted areas. So I don't know if I've seen that one NGO that is just closed to anybody from all over the parish, even though they may not go all over the parish. It's certainly open to anyone all over the parish. But thank you all. It's a needed service.
Thank you.
And certainly, where's your other funding coming from? I know you said the Susan G. Coleman.
We have gotten Community Foundation grants. We've gotten Baird grants, Baird Foundation grants. I want to say Grayson grant. We have gotten what's called the United Thank Offering. That is grant from the Episcopal Church. We do get funding from the Episcopal churches, all the Episcopal churches here in town. We have begun to develop some donations from various people who are donating out of their pocket. We are going to have 2 fundraisers in the spring. We're collaborating with the Martin Luther King Center to have a health, we're calling it Heart to Heart Walk, February 22nd, and it's going to be a health fun run, a 5K, but we're also going to do a health fair with it. So there will be, and we're collaborating with the nursing school to do that. And then we're going to have a dinner mystery theater in April as a fundraiser with silent auction. We decided we had to move into that area too. And what our goal is to get 1/3 of our financing from grants, 1/3 of our financing from the Episcopal Church, and 1/3 of our financing from some fundraisers. And that way, without the grant, if we don't get a grant, we're not going to eliminate services, we will just cut back services. And we don't start a new program until we have the funding for it.
Right. What about the state funding?
We haven't looked into that.
Okay.
Again, this is the dilemma of having a very part-time, limited staff, grant writing and that kind of stuff is difficult.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your service.
Commissioner Dunphy.
Is it Mayberry? Is that right?
Mayberry.
I hear you say that, and I appreciate your extending to the rural areas. You said Vivian and Oil City, but I heard you say that you were having a difficult time in Keithville.
Keithville.
Well, if you can come up with some suggestions, I'm sure Commissioner Smith and I will be willing to do whatever we can do to try to
find us a place to go.
I mean, there's not a little public building.
There is a food bank that operates on Mansfield Road, and we met there for, 2 months and maybe 3 months, and had very little response. So we moved to another food bank and had kind of the same, we just didn't have the turnout. Now, I can say to you, in an event we had this past Sunday, we are at corner of Austin and...
Was there a church there?
Yes, there was, actually, it's the Assembly of God Church, apparently has a Hispanic...
In Keithville?
The one on Colquitt Road?
Okay.
They have an Hispanic ministry starting. And this is one of the areas that we have wanted to expand into to meet the needs of the Hispanic population. And so we have just determined this might be a way to do it through some of the services that are offering, some of the churches that are offering Hispanic services.
Well, the Keithville, and Commissioner Smith will tell you, I think they're unincorporated, so they don't have a mayor and city council, so it makes it a little bit more difficult.
Well, and they don't have a downtown.
Whereas Vivian, you have public entities, so I'm sure Commissioner Smith and myself, any of us will be willing to do whatever we can do to help you find a place.
Well, just keep your ears open, and if you hear of somebody that might think that this would be a good time, and if there are any health fairs or anything like that the bus might be appropriate at, let us know.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The good Lord said that those that have a deaf eye to the cry of the poor, when that time comes, will not be heard. I just want to say you are the modern day Mother Teresa to our community that goes out into the parish wide. And I like the name you said, medical ministry. That's definitely what it is. Oftentimes we as government, we try to run a government like a municipal corporation. And what faith-based and community-based organizations should be doing is filling in the gap that you're doing. And this is good partnership, how we can spend the taxpayer money, worthwhile investing, and get maximizing our investment. For this small bill, you're really maximizing throughout the parish. I just can't say enough about the people that you're serving.
Thank you.
This is one of the poorest community, the poorest states in America. This is National Homeless Awareness Month as well.
So I just want to commend you for what you're doing with less. You should be getting a lot more than what you provide. And those you give money to don't do half of what you do. So I can't say enough about what you were doing to ensure the least of these that may not even get a health screen. That prevented health screen may save somebody's life, which help us as taxpayers because it prevented medicine, which is very important. Then somebody may get a good meal. They may not get a meal for life or a meal for a day. You got veterans that are out for this country living on the bridges and highways right about now. Commissioner Everson, who puts on a program to help. Don't forget the veterans. It's something he does well in the community. So I want to say to you, just keep up the good work. Mother Teresa on wheels, but it's mobile. So you get to reach out to those that are confined to a wheelchair, to a bed, to a home, that don't have transportation in the rural area to come to a hospital. You don't realize the life you touch and the points of life you make. So,
well, one of the other situations we found with the homeless is even though we can hook them up with well-established entities like the Martin Luther King Health Center, they're not comfortable sitting in a waiting room. They're not, it's not, that's part of why they're homeless, is they're not willing to follow the rules. And so they miss an appointment and they get, kicked out, which they have to. That's how a clinic like that runs. We do not run on appointments. We're strictly a drop-in, so they can come at any time. And as far as the veterans, we don't have a relationship with the Veterans Hospital, but one of our volunteers worked for the Veterans Hospital for 22 years, and he's very familiar with the healthcare system there. And so we immediately, that person, we know they have benefits, so we do everything we can to get them fixed into those benefits. So we don't try to duplicate. We try to get them back where they need to be.
I respect what you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
We have no visitors. We will move to reports, administration report.
Good afternoon, Madam President, Commissioners. We have Mr. Ronnie Colvin today he's the Senior Director of External Affairs for Comcast, and he'd like to introduce himself to us.
Drop some business cards on you.
You don't want us to have your number.
Yeah, you Are we gonna talk to you or to somebody that don't speak like we speak?
Pardon me?
We gonna talk to you?
Yes. First of all, thank you for allowing me to come here today. I think some of you knew Frances Smith. She had my role prior. She is actually retiring. She's going to be wrapping up her career this Friday. After 30 years in the industry, I've known Frances basically my entire career as well. Just want to kind of tell you a little bit about myself. I've been with the company 30 years as well with Comcast. I'm no stranger to Shreveport. I have probably made at least 20 visits in the last year and a half to Shreveport in a technical capacity. I'm an engineer by education, and so I've spent a lot of time on the technical side of the house, and now I'm moving over into something I did earlier in my career, which is governmental relations and what we call the external affairs. I'm based out of the Jackson, Mississippi office. I'm responsible for South Alabama, which is Mobile, and I also have everything that Comcast has in the state of Louisiana, which is Houma, LaPlace, Shreveport, and Monroe. So really wanted to update you a little bit on our progress, what I think is progress. We first kind of start with our hiring. We're at 108 employees now out of our Quallen Road shop there. We have been in a hiring mode the entire year. We have really, the majority of our staff there is technical in nature, and that's line technicians, guys that go out and do the work every day on our lines, as well as what we call communications technicians, comms techs, people that go out and install the services and keep up the services every day. We provide an economic impact of about $4 million. That's our annual payroll out of the Shreveport office. And I don't know whether many of you know, we brought in a new leader for this market it's really about this time last year. His name is Remick Darden. He's a long-term Comcaster, come to us he was in Monroe, and he's now moved over here, and he's been in the manager role now for almost a year. And I want to say, I think we've made some very, very good progress in the last year. Again, being an engineer, I look at metrics and I look at how things, how the technical health of a system looks. Usually that tells you a lot about what the customers think and the customer perception. And year over year, I think one of the things that we look at is the amount of trouble calls that we actually have run. And year over year, we're down 4,800 calls from 2012 to 2013, kind of the first 10 months of the year. So I know we've made some good strides there. Another kind of health check that I look at is the amount of outages we have. We look at outages in a couple of ways. We look at them down to the actual location, how many minutes did it take us to get to that outage to repair it, and also how long the outage was. And we have cut the outages basically in half in 2013 versus where we were in 2012. And really, the most obvious question is, what would you attribute that to? And we have made a big financial commitment here in Shreveport as a company. We've changed out over 22 miles of cable plant, and those are in short spans where we've gone out and found squirrel-chewed lines and nick lines and things like that. So we've made a tremendous economic impact there, changing out those. We've also changed out a lot of the taps. I don't know whether Francis had shared with you, we've had a tap project going where we're actually changing out the devices that the customer lines connect to, and usually they're in the kind of in the right of way. We've spent about $500,000 this year on that project, and we've got another $1 million earmarked for that project for 2014, and that'll pretty much wrap up that. We've also done a lot of engineering work, and that's just work on our main technical facility, and a lot of that has been around powering and just making the network more stable. And again, I'm not here to say today, I'd be naive to sit here and tell you that everything is perfect. I'm not coming here to say that at all. The message that I want you to know is that I feel like we've made significant progress in the last 12 months, and that would be kind of the takeaway. Did want to mention a couple of products that we've launched this year, just so you're aware. We've launched home security. We put all of our technicians through that wanted to go into that field. We put them through training, and so we've got a good many of our technicians now that are able to install home security systems as part of as a Comcast offering. We've also launched a lot of Wi-Fi hotspots. For those of you who know Wi-Fi, that's where we've got about 35 locations here now in Shreveport. They're in businesses like small coffee shops, things like that, where you can go in and it's free to the public. If you're a Comcast customer, you can log in, use unlimited time. If you're not a Comcast customer and you need access to Wi-Fi, and it's a Comcast Wi-Fi business, supported business, you can go in and get several hours of free internet access every month. So more to that, more to come there in 2014. We're going to add some more locations, more in the public domain. But I did just want to come today, and I'll be glad to answer any questions. And again, my email, my cell, my office number are on the card. And you should have also got a letter kind of about the transition that Francis had set out. So I'll be glad to answer any questions. Or
Commissioner Cox.
Well, Ronnie, you need to pass out a few more cards. We didn't get enough. About 4 or 5 would do. First off, you said you're hiring more people, which is great to hear.
Mm-hmm.
The last time she was here, what? Yes, Ms. Smith was here. She had some guests with her and told them that they were hiring more contractors. Did we hire Comcast employees or did we hire contractors?
We have both that support the operation, but we would like to use contractors when we've got like kind of the ebbs and flows of the business. When we've got a higher volume of activity, like a back to school, we'll bring in additional contractors, but we want a stable workforce, and we would love to be able to do all of our work in-house. It's just not possible, but we're weighting heavily towards in-house Comcast employees.
Okay. As you're aware, coming down here, you probably already know between the city council and some members of this commission body, we're asking for competition because of the
Understood.
problems that y'all are having. And with any company, especially when it comes to technology, everybody's going to have problems. I mean, just look at what Washington's dealing with now as far as that little going on. With Comcast, though, it's not just, it's been here lately. It's been here ever since I can remember. Comcast has never been able to deliver a qualified product, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm one of your customers. Matter of fact, when we were having our last meeting, my wife called me while we were in the meeting and told me she couldn't see the Shreveport channel that we were on.
Yeah, I checked it. Frances told me about that. She said there was actually a problem with the origination of the signal. It wasn't on Comcast side, believe it or not. She actually told me that today before I left, that happened. And she told me that.
Watch out for Mr. Cox.
No, it wasn't that. It was just that she wanted me to make sure I knew that was not on, that wasn't on us. That was actually a problem with the studio, at the studio. It wasn't on us, our side, Comcast.
And, I mean, Comcast is Comcast. You go to over Bossier, they've got Cox Cable, which I'm no relation to because I wouldn't be here if I did. We have a problem with communication between Comcast, the city, the parish, and the people who have your service. And I think you being new blood and you coming in with different ideas, maybe you can do something there, but you got a long road to hoe.
Well, let me see what I've been coming, to Shreveport now, again.
Visiting and being
No,
things.
when I come, I'm usually here 3 days at a time. I'm not a drive in and pat everybody on the back. I mean, I'm here working, and a lot of my visits here, we were actually out in the field, QCing work, talking with customers, getting feedback and finding out really where are the shortcomings.
Yes.
And so I can hold, look in the eye and tell you that we have, I think we've made some good progress. We put our employees through a ton of training. And that was one of the things we found out just going out and looking, that some of our guys really needed some training besides on-the-job training, actually classroom training. So we spent a ton of hours on just going through, putting everybody back through training, and I think that's paid off some.
The last thing I've got, and I'll give it to Ms. Lynch, your customer service at the Quillen Street office, a lot of complaints about that. What training of customer service are y'all providing with them? Because some people come up there with normal problems, and matter of fact, I'll probably be there this week because my Xfinity box is not working. But so many people call either the city council or us, say, I go up there with a problem and all they want to do is just shove me out the door.
Yeah, we have a new store manager there. She's been there all of about 45 days now.
Okay.
And I hope that your experience is better.
Well, I haven't been there yet.
I'm just saying, better than your
I'm
previous
coming.
visits. You understand that. But we do have a brand new store manager there. She's actually over this store. She's based out of Shreveport. She also covers our Monroe store as well. So
good luck to you. Glad to have you. If there's anything we can do for you, just let us know. But
thank you very much, Mr. Cox. I appreciate it.
I need to eat something I ain't had.
Commissioner Lynch?
Yes, did I hear Commissioner Cox say it was Comcast's fault that the healthcare gov website wasn't working?
No, move some of that hair. Move some of the hair back.
That's your president's fault.
I could.
Okay, I had a question about the hotspot location. How are you, that's for free, right, to where you set them up, or do they have to pay a fee, and how are you determining who gets?
It's a good question. We're offering to any new business customer that signs up with us, and if existing customers want it, we're addressing that as well. But any customer, it's no charge to the business, and it's really if you want to know where the hotspots are, you can actually download an app on your smartphone, and your Apple or your Android device, and it will actually show you where all of the hotspots are in the city of Shreveport. And it's really a foolproof a way to find them, but it is no charge to the business owners.
All righty, thank you.
Commissioner Escaday?
Well, I want to welcome you to Shreveport. I hope that
your predecessor's actually retiring and not going to the loony bin somewhere. I realized that you travel Alabama, Louisiana, and Mississippi and just get the ire of people's angst and anger. So I imagine at night you must have a couple of cocktails and it all goes away, because that's really what your job is. I know you facilitate some things, but you're the bullseye on the target, so to speak. I don't know, I can't really speak for everybody, but personally, I've seen some changes in the service that I've received. Last time that nice lady was here, I guess she had the guy who would be maybe is your boss with him.
He was her supervisor.
Yeah, her supervisor, whoever that is, nice guy. And I was telling him about my internet service and all that kind of stuff, and I didn't tell him where I lived or nothing. I just said the zip code, and miraculously the next day, it's just been wonderful ever since. I'm hoping it wasn't just for me.
Mr. Wonderful.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I'm sure they went in there and okay, all you got to put in your name, find out where your customers live. I'm a customer, but I've seen some progress. I've heard stories about the difficulties people have had at the store. I've been down there in the last year on 3 different occasions. All I can say is personally, people were very helpful to me, very polite. I didn't do anything but give them my bill. I didn't say anything else, So I'm looking for big things. I see the effort. I see the improvement. I think you were between a box and a rock and a hard place. You bought this. Comcast bought this from Time Warner, didn't you?
Yes.
And had you known what you'd know now, they probably would have never bought it, based on the investment you've had to make to get it right. So I applaud your efforts. Welcome. Look forward to working with you, and are convinced that ultimately that y'all will get everything in order, because it's in your best interest to have a happy customer. A happy customer buys more product, and there goes your profitability goes up with that. So. Welcome.
That's my thoughts exactly. I mean, you set it up summed it up in a nutshell. I mean, it's in our best interest to provide the service our customers expect. And
well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to echo what some of the commissioners said. We come from a long way in a short period of time. We're off to a fresh start and a new beginning. Where I have received, many of us in our district received numerous bombarded with calls concerning your service. At the end of the day, it's all about customer service. And when someone have a problem, they want it fixed. They want it prepared. Especially when the New Orleans Saints are playing the Cowboys, you got to, you got to have your cable fixed.
I'm pulling for the Saints too, by the way.
There you go. He's from Mississippi. Jackson's got a big Saints have a big fan base in Jackson. That's right.
But at the end of the day, people have a right to choose a cable provider. And being that you are a franchise here, and we're looking forward to great things from you. I think that has been reduced, the number of calls and complaints. I don't know what type of training that you give your employees in regard to customer service, phone etiquette. Those are some things I feel that would help sustain training and sustain your employees, and better communication that goes out from your department. So I commend you, whatever we can do to make your stay pleasant here in Shreveport and Caddo. Feel free to call on us, because usually we've been on the other side. Haven't been that pleasant when you come over, because when people call us for everything,
I understand.
From getting the electricity on, they call commissioners. But we have to provide that service and be the finger that point them in the right direction. So look forward to working with Mr. Colvin, and glad you're here.
Thank you. I will say this, we log any complaints that we get from the Public Service Commission, the city of Shreveport, or from the parish. We log those, they're logged locally, and that's how I end up closing the loop with whoever. I think Commissioner Thibodeau, I believe you sent me something, and my goal is to always
tree
close
limbs on the wire. Who's responsible for that? PC call you? Get a lot of that.
We get that can really be one of three. It could be on a power line. It could be on an AT&T line. If it's on my line,
yes, sir.
we would say we would own that. and then we would have to get those cleared, because, you know, we don't want, if that tree were to fall, it'd bring down.
Is it subcontracted out with a private contractor, or you?
It would be subcontracted out to we've got a line crew that works for us in this area that works kind of between Monroe and here, and we would subcontract that out.
All right, thank you.
I may tag back up on what Mike said about the power lines. I know that SWEPCO is doing lots and lots and lots of tree work, particularly in, I guess, the Broadmoor Terrace neighborhood right now. And I mean, in fact, they take too much tree as far as I'm concerned, but when you can't communicate with them because you don't habla, you know, you come back and your tree's gone. But anyway, I've noticed that most of Comcast lines are generally run below the power line. So SWEPCO's taking care of a whole lot of that, because in order to take care of their lines, it's taking away the threat to the cable line. So call SWEPCO. They're spending a bunch of money this year. Thank you.
On your email, Mr. Colvin, is it Comcast.com or .net?
.com.
It is .com. Okay. Thank you so much for coming. It says .com. I have a Comcast email, and it's .net. That's
It
why I
is
was asking.
.net. Yeah, the .com is for the
special.
corporation employees. All of our customers have .net. You are correct. You are correct. My personal email is .net, so.
No, he just said the customers are special, that's why we have.
That's why you got .net.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Goldman. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you. Commissioners, we had a request on our last regular meeting to have someone from the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries to come talk to us about the giant Sylvania plant in our area lakes. So Mr. Mike Wood will be here on Thursday to give you an update on what the state is doing. Also received last Tuesday a letter of intent from the Renaissance Neighborhood Development Corporation to purchase the Subway building in the garage for $1 million. And certainly I did a little cover sheet along with their letter to you all. It's not the administration recommendation that we go forward with that, because we have about $2 million invested in that deal. You all know we spent about $541,000 doing the roof and the abatement of hazardous waste in the building. And we also we spent $650,000 for the parking garage when we purchased it. And the building was valued at about $700,000 when it was donated to us. So we're not making a recommendation that we go forward with this particular endeavor. But certainly that will be up to you all. But the recommendation from us is not a good match for us. Also, just want to remind you that we have the budget retreat Thursday. And simply we're just there to answer any questions you may have relative to the budget. And that concludes my report, ma'am.
Commissioner Lynch?
You answered some of my questions, but I also wanted to get the amount that we paid on for insurance and utilities.
Okay.
On the Silver building.
Okay.
And you said about $650 for the parking lot.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then the $500,000 or so for the remediation.
Yes, ma'am, and the new roof.
Okay, so that's $1,100,000. I'm rounding up. $1,192,000.
Yes.
We have an offer of $1 million.
Yes, and the building was assessed when it was donated to us at about $700,000. The value at that time.
Without the improvement.
The improvement is the 1.2 million with the garage and a $500,000 for the roof repair and the abatement work.
So is it just a numbers thing why you're saying you don't think it's a?
Certainly, it's far less than what we have invested in the building, if you just consider the financials. They offer us $1 million for something we got.
1.2 million.
Well, yes, but we had to include the initial value of the building itself when we first got it without the improvements, with $700,000. So when you add those back in, you're right at $2 million. And what they want to do is make apartments. I think it's a 501c3 organization, so it's not going to be taxed.
That's right.
I think the idea was to do something that would put it back in economic commerce. That wouldn't be something that would happen.
So this was unsolicited. They just
They approached us, ma'am, yes, it was unsolicited.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Commissioner Lynn,
My question was answered. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Commissioner Epperson.
Dr. Wilson,
Yes, sir.
public hearing on budget will be incorporated into Thursday's meeting, right?
That's correct, sir. That's correct. Thursday at 3:30. We would have previously had the question and answer with the budget, but we changed it because we went to Austin, Texas last week, and that's why it conflicted. We changed it to Thursday at noon, so we can address any questions you may have relative to the budget. But if you have a question, we don't have to wait till Thursday, and we'll take it on anytime you want to address it.
Anyone else? Next item, Ms. Clerk.
Next, we move to communiques and committee reports.
Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you, Madam President. November 25th, I'm having a affordable healthcare meeting at Southern University Jesse Stone Building, 6:30. The Navigators for Health in Louisiana will be conducting the forum.
Will you repeat that?
On November 26th at 6:30, having an affordable healthcare forum. The Navigators for Healthy in Louisiana, November 25th.
Right before Turkey Day. Turkey
Said 26 this time.
He said 26.
26,
Okay.
2 days before.
So, yeah, Thanksgiving is one day, Thursday.
Yeah,
This is
28. 28.
This is on the 25th. Okay?
Send us an email.
25th or 26th?
25th.
25th.
I'll go if it's truly gonna be affordable.
You'll find out. But it'll be at the Jesse Stone Building on Southern University campus. Martin Luther King Drive.
Might as well stay home.
Commissioner Escaday.
I would just like to let everybody know that some of you were here. The Alcohol Beverage Committee met today. We disposed of 2 cases in good time and with a positive outcome. Thank everybody who was here to help out on that.
Commissioner Bowman.
Thank you, Madam President. I also want to thank everybody who attended the Animal Service Committee. We were very productive today, and we're looking at possibly doing some things with the vote of everyone else on the commission for possibly Thursday to extend the hours. That was what was passed in the work session part for the shelter, and also some of the members of the committee as well as the advisory board will be flying to Baton Rouge on Friday to shelter there and to see what we can do and learn some things to bring back.
Anyone else? Next item, Ms. Clerk.
Next, we have the president's report.
A couple things I want to talk about. First is to give Commissioner Epperson and his Veterans Committee a hand for that wonderful job. It was simply
Fantastic.
wonderful. It
Good
was,
job.
It was, and Miss Vita, because she worked hard too.
That's
So-
Marine over there. Ooh, yeah.
It was absolutely wonderful, and it was a good turnout. I only wish more veterans and more citizens was there to actually witness this, but it was truly awesome. And it was one veteran there that was 93. 93 years old. He attended, and it was just great. It really was wonderful. So thank you all so much for your hard work and for putting it together and making it be a success. The next thing I wanted to talk about was my trip to Japan was very fruitful. I even lost a little weight because on my last days I just refused to eat any more sushi. I started living off of some bread that I could get. So, but it was very fruitful. We were sent over to do a study on Tokushima in Japan on their tourism, that they were losing their tourism base, and they wanted us to just kind of take a look at their system and see actually what, they were doing right or wrong. And one of my observations that I found was that they were not handicap accessible. And I know that a lot of Americans, and I told them this, a lot of Americans do not let disabilities hinder them from visiting and from traveling, and I didn't see any handicap accessible tourists attractions where a wheelchair person or someone on a walker or a cane could actually go and visit, because they have a lot of historic, beautiful historic tourist attractions, temples and you know, waterfalls and all these different types of things, old bridges that they have refurbished and they're keeping up, but you cannot, as a handicapped person, cannot go and see it. So I told them that they need to make it more feasible for a handicapped person, especially Japan, you know, is looking at entertaining the Olympics in 2020, and I told them that they needed to make it available for granted to come see their child perform in 2020 in the Olympics. So they were very receptive to our observations and the things that we were telling them, but they were very nice. I heard you all talk about customer service at Comcast, but customer service in Japan everywhere is very nice. They are very kind. They are very thankful for you coming and patronizing their businesses. They thank you. They bow 100 times before you leave out. But they're very nice people, very little people. I guess they eat well because everybody over there is little. My host family told me it's very hard to find clothes to fit you over here. So I didn't get a chance to do no shopping.
That's why they don't have any handicaps. How many overweight Japanese people?
I didn't see any. They're very small people. It was really a nice job. Very busy. We were moving and I mean, they walk a lot. They walk everywhere. They don't have elevators.
That's why they're little.
That's why they're little people. So it was a very nice, very fruitful trip and a good experience. So I truly enjoyed that experience. So thank you all for your prayers and your emails. I did get a disturbing phone call at 1 o'clock in the morning from Vita telling me she was retiring. And I woke up out of my sleep at 1 o'clock to answer the phone, and it was Vita calling. She said, well, what time is it? And I said, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. But it was very good. It was a very fruitful trip. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed every bit of it. It was tiring. I got mad. I got tired of walking. I got tired of eating sushi 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, dinner. But it was real nice.
They didn't have a Mickey D's?
They had Mickey D's, but they wouldn't let us go there.
Give us some language. What you learned of the shishini?
Whatever y'all say. Konnichiwa. Very good trip. I think that was it. All I wanted to do.
Commissioner, back with a hair blonde, so hey.
Commissioner, I did this one. Commissioner Epperson, I see you have.
Did you tell them what I sent that email?
Oh yes, I did. I did tell them that too. I did get an email too saying that I better not go over there and find no husband because I did not get permission to get married or even to look for a husband. So all I did was look. I took pictures and I brought them back. So I said I have to get permission first before I can make a decision.
Next time we'll send Ms. Lynch.
And, also, I'd like to
go to Japan.
Whoa.
I'll give a final and detailed report relative to the Veterans Parade and Honor Ceremony Thursday. Waiting on a couple of more items to come in.
Okay. And the souvenir book is it's real nice.
It's real nice.
I really want to compliment that book.
Yes.
The book
Real
is
nice.
very nice. So everything is really nice. So thank you all
Come
so
to me
much.
down.
Commissioner Lynch.
Oh, I wanted to see where we were on getting a meeting set up with Dr. Gorey.
Yeah, I think it's the second week in December.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
The first week he was busy.
the new school board superintendent.
As soon as we confirm, I'll let everybody know who desired to meet with him. But Commissioner Lynch asked me to set up a meeting with the new superintendent. We reached out to him, and for the first week, Friday in December, he was busy, so we went to the second Friday in December.
What's the date?
I think it's the 13th of December. I think we got a tentative date. I'm sorry, the 14th?
Oh, it's the 13th, you're right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
14th, that's a Friday, that's a Saturday.
13th. Can he meet earlier that week? Or maybe the beginning of the next week?
Oh, yeah, 13th?
Can he meet earlier that week or the beginning of the next week?
I was thinking that we would have a room over at the Petroleum Club for lunch and meet with the superintendent. That's what we were talking about?
Right, but I was saying, do you think he can meet earlier that week or beginning of the next week?
I can find
Check
out.
on a couple other dates.
Okay. We'll find out.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. This is to meet with the new superintendent to see what's going on, see what his views are, right?
Well, primarily, and I know he's been meeting with different groups and entities. I'm not sure about the city yet, but certainly, you know, with all of the economic development activity, and we know really a lot of what we do goes back to, you know, school system. Not to mention the work that we're doing with juvenile and some other areas. And so, before he gets here and people convince him otherwise on some of the issues that we're dealing with, particular with juveniles.
Okay.
And with our economic development initiatives, you know, just what our expectations are. Let him know what some of the things that we're doing and we're working on, and the workforce, you know, that these companies and corporations that we're talking with that they need. So it's just a, you know, work how long. Thank you.
Also, we get an earlier date.
Commissioner Williams?
Madam Chairman, you might then express our bus tour experience this past week.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Regarding the trip to Austin. It was an eye-opener for me in terms of the forecast of the future in terms of economic development in science, research, and technology. There was a wealth of knowledge and experience that we experienced promoting wealth. The average income in Austin is $56,000.
That's right.
It has one of the lowest unemployment rate in America.
Right.
The IC Square Institute, headed up by none other than the Dr. John Butler, who's a graduate of LSU. He has a very dynamic team, professional in every area from venture capital to angel funds and how to invest, along with the biomedical research and the local delegation of city councils and business people. It was a wonderful experience trip. I think it's something that we can take here in Caddo and Bossier and partner up with and learn how to create wealth. The best way to uproot yourself out of poverty is finding you a good job or a good idea. And them people have ideas. If your idea is worth something, they have people, smart, wise people that would invest in your idea. So it gives our young people hope, because they're the generation of computer technology and research. And oftentimes we lose our great minds to other cities. When people graduate, there's nothing for them to do when they leave. With this, it gives us an opportunity, a platform to maybe retain our greatest mind here in Caddo Parish and Shreveport. So I'm excited with continual discussion regarding this project, this process, and I look forward to working with the Economic Development Committee. And John was on good behavior. Can you believe that?
No. Sure.
Also, let me piggyback. I also went to Belle Chase, Louisiana. I'd never been there before, at the bottom of New Orleans. And they were interested in our program that we have in juvenile service, the Swag Nation program. And looking forward to learning more about it. Met with the DA, met with the city council, met with the administration. And I think as we speak, we're putting a proposal together to maybe have that project down there in New Orleans. So I'm excited about what we started here, right in little old Shreveport, Louisiana. There's a lot of great things come out of here. We just don't think we're great, because you got to be out of town to be great. Yes. We got a lot of great people in our community, in our parish, in our city. We need to start promoting and recognizing our own. So I'm excited about what has translated with the help of the commission. We've never been baptized or born had it not been for the men and women on this body who had enough faith and courage to give the Swag Nation administration an opportunity. I'm excited working with Mr. Clay Walker, one of the most dynamic juvenile service directors in this country. We're blessed to have people like him and his colleague he worked with over there, and Judge Scott and the others. So I'm excited about what we're doing. We hope to move forward and continue the momentum. Thank you.
Mr. Epson.
I want to mention I had an opportunity to go to the inaugural home game of the Shreveport Bossier Mavericks. The venue is excellent. They have a courtside section. They have VIP section where you can order tables and they'll bring your food out to you. Excellent game, excellent venue.
Where is it at?
At Hearst. They held at the Hearst.
You missed it.
VIP parking and regular parking.
Are we considered
very
VIP?
Nice and clean. Get that money right.
I'm the low IP.
I spoke with the public relations director, and she's in the process. We're going to get together and pick a couple of dates. You know, we had mentioned that we'll do a government night, because I think if we band together as elected officials and show support for something coming to town, then the citizens would basically hoover around it too, so
That will be
I'll
the
be
VIP
bringing those
part.
dates to you.
That will be the VIP part, right?
Like I said, that money, right? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Next item.
We have no old business, we move to new business. Zoning case P413 in regards to ordinance number 5372 of 2013, Metropolitan Planning Commission applicant request to amend section 54660 and section 54820 of chapter 54 of the Code of Ordinances.
Move to Thursday.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Lynch, second by Commissioners Escudate to move to Thursday. Is there any discussion? Please vote. Passes. Next item.
Zoning case P1513 in regards to ordinance number 5373 of 2013.
Voted yes.
So move to Thursday.
Moved by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Johnson. Is there any discussion?
I guess these will be for introduction, is that right, Todd?
That these are for introduction. If you'll look, this one particular one won't be heard until January 23rd.
That's as soon as it can be heard then?
Well, there's an appeal that came in after our deadline that'll go along with this January 23rd case.
Okay.
Please vote. That passes. Next item.
Zoning case P17 2013 in regards to ordinance number 5374 2013 Lion Square Realty LLC applicant request to rezone RA agriculture to I1 light industry.
You can.
So moved.
So, second.
Moved by Commissioner Lynch,
Get
second
close
by
to Mr.
Commissioner
Smith over there,
Epson.
man. Watch out.
Is there any Commissioner Escudate?
No, I don't have anything to say.
Commissioner Cox?
What exactly are they, I mean, it's a changing, so what do they want?
You talking about that in mind?
Permit sales and service of industrial construction equipment.
Click on the blue.
Okay.
And there was no opposition with the
MPC.
one for the MPC. And businesses up there synonymous.
Please vote. That passes. Next item.
Authorize ordinance number 5375 of 2013, an amendment to the Caddo Parish personnel policy which will require that effective January 1, 2014, all parish employees hired must be residents of Caddo Parish. Effective January 1, 2015, all parish employees, in order to be promoted to a manager, supervisor, or director position within parish, must be residents of Caddo Parish.
Move to Thursday.
Second.
Can I address that just a minute? This ordinance will be discussed I've asked that Commissioner Lynch, who is chairman of the Personnel and Policies Committee, have their committee hear that, and I'm just wanting to get it on the clock right now, so whatever changes may be made by the committee or by the full body can be made, but I did want to get it on the clock to try to get it, since we only have one meeting in December, try to get this done before the first of the year.
Been moved by Commissioner Thibodeau, second by Commissioner Lynch. Commissioner Top?
Let me ask a question. It says, in order to be promoted manager, supervisor, director position. So what happens if we have directors or managers that are living outside the parish now? Are they going to be required to move in the parish, or are they just grandfathered in?
No, they're grandfathered in.
Okay, thank you.
What if they want to get another?
Well,
Commissioner
no, wait a
Williams.
minute, I'm not done yet. This is my personal opinion. If we're going to look for the best that Caddo can get, and nothing against what you're trying to do, you and Ms. Lynch, I'm surprised y'all agree on something to begin with. Here's my problem. You go after good people when you have a job opening. I would not let anybody, just because they live in Bossier, DeSoto, or even East Texas, not have a job being qualified for that job to make Parish of Caddo better. And I've had some questions about this, and I've talked to a few commissioners, including Mr. Thibodeau, and up until about a month ago, I was kind of leaning toward this. But as I talk to people in my district, customers that I service, had a change of heart. We are servicing the residents of Caddo Parish, and in doing so, I want to put the best product that I can out in front of them. And if that means hiring somebody outside the parish, so be it. if you look on I-20 at 5 o'clock, you'll see all those cars going back to Bossier. Or on I-49 going to Keithville or DeSoto Parish. Or some going I-20 headed west to East Texas.
Just as a point of information, if you'll read the rest of the ordinance, that exactly what you're talking about has been addressed.
Okay.
But, I mean, there's still a lot of commenting to be done. That's why it's
Yeah.
going to the committee. But
Well-
specifically what you're talking about is addressed.
Okay, well, and that's my personal opinion. I don't want to lose good people just because of
I understand. I don't
of
either.
that. So, all right, thank you.
Commissioner Williams?
I will be moving it to Thursday agenda, but I will debate it regarding the merits of why we shouldn't want the best and the brightest based on not only just the qualifications. We're looking at it from a point of who are paying taxes into the parish, and they don't live in the city of the parish. They buy sales taxes. The same people that spend their dollars also pay sales taxes. We shouldn't just be sold on the fact you have to live in the parish. We don't get a chance to have these organizations or these groups set up to find the best and the brightest to represent parish. I think we have an administration can serve the city, the parish, and the school board right now. Not because they live in the parish of Caddo, because they're competent. And that's what you want, people that are competent to do their job. And so you want to micromanage the people that you hire. I want to commend this administration, especially the administrator, who hired these directors and these managers and these people that run these departments. He allowed them to run them. And I want to commend them not because of where they live, but because of how they perform. And we should be one of the best and the brightest minds to be able to work at this parish. They have shown why, not because of where you live, because of your education and your qualification. We wouldn't have a Miss Bryan because now we have one of the highest Moody bond ratings this parish has ever seen. We're probably one of the first to have a PhD administrator in the parish. Not because of where he lives, because of the performance, but because of his commitment to do better and get better and learn and not be status quo. So I think we have to challenge some of these good feel laws, just feel good for the public. And I used to be on that side where the parish and administrator need to live in the parish. I used to be, but I have a change of mind as well. If anything, it should be not subject to now, but maybe in the future. Because people have to have time to process. Because of the school, they might not want to live in the parish.
I ain't gonna lie.
There's a lot of reasons why people are sprawling out, moving out, because of the educational system we have. They all have a right to choose. They want their kid to have the best educational system. So I think there's a lot of things we need to look at. I'm not allowed due process, but I think before we put this on, we need to ask ourselves, would you send your kid to these schools? Would you? And, don't be holding you just because you don't live here. I'm excited to have the type of administration we have, and I look forward to not where you live, but how you perform. And that's what I want from this administration. When I call you, I want people to be able to get good customer service. Not because of the acronym in front of the name or the acronym behind their name, because they need help. They ain't gonna ask you, do you live in Caddo? Can you help me? They're not gonna ask you. All they want is help. So I would promote it, but I probably will be voting against it.
Commissioner Tony?
Yeah, I think I pretty much agree with Commissioner Cox and Commissioner Williams. I mean, I know some of the guys up in North Camp, I think maybe one or two of them live in Texas or Arkansas, and you could take a stone from that northwest part of the state. And, you never know when that's going to happen. And the other question I had is, if you had a current employee who is, I guess, quote, grandfathered in, but they wanted to seek a higher promotion or go up the ladder, so to speak, do they have to move to Caddo Parish? I'm a little unsure about that. And I don't mind moving this forward so we can continue to debate this, and I'll move it forward, but I just have some questions and concerns about it too. So I'm going to try to be short so we can move on with our agenda, but that's my feelings at this time.
Commissioner Lynn?
I come here and I do my job, and no, I don't have to get invested and make sure that the Caddo Parish school system is the best school out there, because I send my children to school in Texas, or I send my children to school in Bossier Parish, or I send my children to school in DeSoto Parish. And so I'm able to come in here, I'm able to make the decisions that affect the entire parish, that affect every single person that lives here, and I can get my check. But you know what? I can send my kids to Bossier and not go to the Caddo Parish School Board meetings because my children go to Bossier and I go to the Bossier Parish School Board meetings. Or I can go to the Texas School Board members meetings. You can live in Texas and not pay state income tax. And so there's a lot of reasons to live outside of Caddo Parish, but there's even more reasons to live inside Caddo Parish. If you want to send your child to a good school, there's good schools. And if you want to make a positive change in Caddo Parish, you can make positive change within our school system without moving to another community. And I think that anybody that works for Caddo Parish, I hope that they are proud enough, like me and like everybody sitting at this table, from here down, to live in Caddo Parish.
From here down?
Oh,
okay, I was going to say.
What you mean here down? What are you saying, man?
To the left. So anyway, so I'm all for this, and yes, it needs to be tweaked, and no, nobody's getting fired and nobody's going to lose their job, but we need to look towards the future in drawing people into Caddo Parish. And yes, I'd love to live in Caddo Parish, and yes, I'd love to work in Caddo Parish, and not any of this, well, I'm going to pick and choose where I want to live because I'll get a job there anyway. That's all.
Commissioner Escudé.
I'll move it to Thursday. I'm not sure that the committee will have enough time to tweak it for final action on Thursday. And if it gets to that point, then I want to delay. Certainly this matter needs to be considered. I'm not sure what changes need to be made, but I think we're all aware that some fundamental changes need to be made. How that impacts people in the future and current employees remains to be seen. But to say it's not an issue, I think is disingenuous. We all kind of knew this would be coming up. You don't see the commander of an aircraft carrier sitting at the Pentagon calling the shots. Jesus lived among his disciples. He didn't catch the Motel 8, the Bethlehem Motel 6 at night and left them out there in the cold. I think people expect their very top official to reside among them. I can't think of another parish or county that's like us. And I'm not saying to that extent what we need to do. I just think you lead by example. I think we need to address this issue. I'm hearing it more and more, as you all are. I heard it particularly a lot during our tax election. The question asked, because it hadn't been common knowledge, that this condition exists. I'm not going to call it a problem. But now it's out there, so we need to look at it, try to be as fair as we can. We've got some very good people here. I'd hate to see them not be able to advance. Got a couple of employees who actually live on the other side of the river that are, at least in my mind, until they screw up or prove me wrong, are administrator-type material one day in the future. So, you know, I think we need to look at this and come up with some policies that make sense, but not rush into it. And with that being said, if we can't cover the bases and do it comprehensively and be fair about it, as Commissioner Thibodeau suggested, it may take till December. But that being said, I'll move it to Thursday.
Commissioner Lynch, did you want to say something?
No, just quickly, I want to make sure, as Mike alluded to earlier, there are exemptions to this. If you look at the, I guess the legal came up with some of the parameters, just an outline, but certainly it's something that's going to be discussed in more detail in the committee meeting. But there are exceptions and there are exemptions, and everyone that is currently employed is grandfathered in, so it does not impact those folks. And I don't really want to debate it today because some people have already made up their mind without looking at any information, without looking at any data, and I would hope that we would consider everything, the whole picture, and not just, you know, one aspect of it. We're losing population in Caddo Parish. Our money is going out of the parish. People are going out of the parish. And when you look at progressive cities and progressive counties, residency requirements are a big part of how they're keeping and retaining good people in those areas. You know, I'm not sure if Austin has one or not. I'm not 100% sure. But certainly there are other counties and other cities and even states that have residency requirements. So it's not, you know, like we're reinventing the wheel, but it's something that we've, you know, discussed over a period of time. And just to look at policies and determine if it's right for Caddo Parish, or if we can shape something that's right for Caddo Parish, if anything. So it's not a done deal. You know, Commissioner Thibodeau wanted to kind of get the ball rolling, but I'm not really sure if we'll be able to promulgate all of what would go into it within the time period in the next 2 weeks. But certainly it is a place that we need to start, at least discussing it. So I hope everybody will keep an open mind and not think it is geared toward any one person, because everybody at this, you know, point is grandfathered in. And there are exemptions and exceptions. It's not a hard, fast rule. It's either you are or aren't. And under Commissioner Thibodeau's proposal, which I'm not really sure, he's saying that the commission itself would make that determination on those exceptions and exemptions. So somebody will still be in the driver's seat on that. It's not a hard, fast that you can't work for the parish. So I just wanted to make sure that was out there as well. Thank you.
Commissioner Thibodeau?
Yeah, in section 206C, it says the residency requirement may be waived by the parish commission in an executive session as permitted under Louisiana law. So if there's a situation where the best possible person available is from somewhere other than Caddo Parish, this allows us to take a look and for the administrator to offer that person. And there's, I'm just, for the last 2 years, I've heard almost everybody on this commission talk about, you know, having people working for us who don't even live in Caddo Parish, and that we hire people that don't live in Caddo Parish. And so basically I got tired of hearing people talk about it, and at least I'm putting something on the floor that we can talk about. And if it means that we have to delay it and we don't do anything until January, February, whatever, that's fine. But we got to get started if in fact we're going to do anything. And it you know, it may be when the full commission votes on it, we may not do anything, and that's fine. But I felt it was time to at least put something on the table to take a look at, and would certainly invite and hope that everybody who is interested will attend the committee meeting. And I'm not on the committee, but will attend the committee meeting and put their 2 cents in as far as how they feel about this.
Next, please vote.
Move to Thursday.
Yes.
Move to Thursday.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Authorize resolution number 71 of 2013, authorizing the administrator CEO of Caddo Parish to delay the execution of resolution number 39 of 2013 and seek, working jointly with Racer Trust, NLP, and the Caddo Parish Industrial Development Board, a RFI, to scan the market to see if other developers or users will provide more optimal job creation, revitalization, and other benefits that are contemplated by the existing purchase authorization.
I'm going to move to remove this from the agenda. I'm removing it from the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Lynch, second by Commissioner Epperson, to remove ordinance number, resolution number 71 from the agenda. Commissioner Bowler, did you want to say something?
No, ma'am, that was on the other issue. I was wondering when that committee meeting was.
Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lynch, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say I've been on the phone with lawyers since Friday and a little bit today, in particular Ray Cornelius with Adams Reese, and
Committee meeting.
I feel confident that we're moving toward a compromise in addressing some of the key issues and concerns that I had on this issue, which particularly is a guaranteed creation of good paying jobs. And so we'll continue those conversations over the next couple of weeks. And so as of today, I want to take it off.
Please vote. Next item, Commissioner Escudero didn't vote.
I didn't vote, that's right.
Next item.
Authorize Resolution 72 of 2013, authorizing the Parish Caddo Administrator, CEO, to delay the execution of ordinance number 5330 of 2013.
Ditto. Move to remove from the agenda.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Lynch, second by Commissioner Epperson to remove this item as well. Resolution number 72 from the agenda. Please vote. Next item.
Authorize Resolution number 73 of 2013, urging and requesting Congress to oppose adoption of the Trans-Pacific Partnership Free Trade Agreement.
Recommend moving for Thursday.
Second.
I don't know if any of you may have had an opportunity to read the resolution in detail. But I had a conference call with NACO's Economic Development Committee, and we have some language in our Economic Development Committee relative to trade agreements. And
Which one is this?
73.
No, which Economic Development Committee?
Our NACO's economic. You know, they kill labor and employment,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we move to economic development.
Okay.
And I got them working on this too. And I have further details, but I ask that you read the resolution now, what I have here. We'll discuss it further Thursday. It's on the resolution.
It will be added to Thursday's agenda. It'll be on there for you. It's not on today's.
Oh, it's not ready, okay.
The resolution, you mean? It's not there.
Right, it's not there. It was not finished at the time.
Okay, that's what I was.
If I could just give you maybe a little blurb on it.
Go ahead.
This is it's called the Trans-Pacific Partnership Trade Agreement. A number of Asian countries and the United States, and it's basically perpetrated by President Barack Hussein Obama, which may be surprising that I'd go against him, but it just doesn't look good for us. It doesn't look good for us. If some of you are looking at working out deals with Vietnam, China, and other nations, which we figure will be job killers for Americans and be a downturn toward our economy. So it's something we really need. Plus, they're fast tracking it, and they're doing it in privacy. They won't even let people, let congressmen in on negotiations. So I ask that you'd advance this to Thursday, and we come up with more details.
Is trading or what?
Okay, you heard of NAFTA?
Yes, sir.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You know, how NAFTA did
Yeah.
the same thing.
$5 million jobs lost, 60,000 manufacturing plants closed.
Commissioner Thibodeau?
I've got mine answered.
Dominique?
Oh, that mine's been answered too.
Bowman?
Same.
Cox?
I can basically tell you the workforce took a big dip after NAFTA.
Trucking.
And trucking as well, because if you don't have manufacturing, you don't have warehouses. You don't have warehouses, you don't have stores. You don't have stores, you don't have jobs. And for them to fast track this around Congress, I would like to see that our representatives see what they say about this as well. Whether get this resolution, if it passes, to them in their hands ASAP and get something going on it through NACO. I appreciate what you did, bringing this to our attention and everything, but yeah, if you want to see the United States go down even deeper than what we are right now, put something like this in place.
President calling you right now, man.
I heard your call.
President
called you.
Please
call him. He heard you, man. He
Hey,
brother.
he don't want to talk to me.
Next item.
Authorize a resolution of recognition for Bishop L. Lawrence Brandon on his appointment as third presiding bishop of the Full Gospel Baptist Church International.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Lynch, second by Commissioner Bowman.
Will there be cake?
Please vote. That passes. Next item.
Authorize resolution declaring November as Homeless Awareness Month in Caddo Parish.
So move, Madam Chairman.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Dominique. Commissioner Williams, what else are we gonna do about the homeless awareness month?
What I'm gonna do?
Yeah.
I may be out to eat with it, we ain't care.
Well, I know that Commissioner Bowman had an idea that he wanted to look at doing, and we wasn't thinking about this month being homeless month. So you and Commissioner Bowman need to get together. He has a good idea for the parish.
Just great minds think alike.
Yeah, so. Please vote.
I got an old man now, I'm 53, so I ain't young.
Oh, man, you
Wait
can
a
do
minute, I'm
it.
53. I ain't
We
got
can
no.
always help. We can always help the homeless.
Ain't got
Roll
no.
up our sleeve.
Mr. Bowman?
Joe, what you on there? Joe say I'm a cool.
Yeah, wait till that little man comes up. Come all the way from the van to find you.
Got you. Oh, that's your name now. Next item is.
Next, we have consent agenda.
Oh, good.
Jared,
Thank you. We're done.
pick up my bird, give me a superior margarita.
Happy birthday
Oh, that's
to
right.
you. Happy birthday to you. It looks like
I'm
that's
fine.
what it is.
Oh, what?